everyone, Violet here, and Happy New Year, Happy 2026, and I've decided to attempt vlogging. Will I succeed or continue? I don't know, but we're trying it for now. So I'm gonna just try to talk about things that I read this week as I read them. That's what vlogging is, right? Yeah, totally. Okay, so today I actually flew back in from Christmas break, and so I got through like probably the back 2/3 of Woman of Sunlight by Mary Connealy. Connealy? I don't know how you say this. This is a inspirational historical romance. It's a Western, published by Bethany House. They do a lot of inspirational romance. It's them and one other publisher that I can't think of the name of. I'll put it down there if I remember to do that. Okay, so this is the second book in the Brides of Hope Mountain series. I read the first one, I think like summer of last year. I own all three of them, so, you know, working my way through it. Hopefully I'll finish it this year. So this is about these three women who their grandparents raised them. Their parents died like when they were younger. And so their grandparents raised them to be very afraid of the outside world. They live on Hope Mountain. And they'd never been off of the mountain because their grandparents told them that there was like a whole bunch of disease there and that they would just die. There's like disease and danger and terrible things happening. So they have been like hyper isolated until the first book, which is when the first heroine, the sister, I think her name is Jo, she ends up falling in love with this guy who's a member of this rancher family who ends up fleeing up to the mountains to escape some, like, proper Western land grab shenanigans. So they end up crossing paths with this family. And so Ilsa ends up getting with Jo's man's brother, whose name is Mitch. Mitch was a, like, business tycoon type, and due to various reasons sort of pulled away from that, and came back home, returned home, only for the trouble that he left to follow him there. So he ends up going back down to try and deal with it. She ends up tagging along. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I mean, it is like a meaningful trope here. They end up kind of getting compromised and having to get married very quickly. And then they end up going to Chicago. And this is both of the books so far have been interesting. They've been multiple points of view. So like past the hero and heroine. So in the first one, it's like Jo, the love interest. I think Mitch has some points of view. The hero of the third book also had a point of view in that, and he also has one in this, and all of the sisters do, I believe. I don't know if Ilsa actually had a point of view in this first one, but the other sister of theirs has a point of view in this book, and in the first one, I'm pretty sure. So, because all of these happen somewhat concurrently, or they happen kind of staggered, I guess. So yeah, and this one, Jo's married to the first brother. Ilsa gets with Mitch in this one, and then the third sister, who I can't remember the name of right now, is going to get with a different guy who's been sort of around, vaguely antagonistic, tied to the Western land grab shenanigans. So yeah, this one I think was a improvement over the first one, which I liked but didn't love. I didn't love the dynamic between the hero and the heroine in that I felt like he was a little too controlling. In this one, he tries to be controlling and then realizes that she's like kind of feral and learns to vibe with the fact that she is feral and will also help with fighting all of the... There are so many assassination attempts, so many people try to kill him in this book. So it's pretty action-packed. It reminds me of like a little bit of like a Jane Ann Krentz romantic suspense situation, except a lot more, you know, churchy in a lot of ways. Definitely, probably higher Jesus per volume if you're on the fence about inspirationals, but I had fun. And yeah, I think I'll finish this series, and I think I'll probably hang on to them. They're a good time. So that is what I read today, or finished reading today. So this is, I believe, my first book of the year. Woo woo. And so, yeah, now for what will be coming up this week. I know I need to read Direbound by Sable Sorenson for an in-person romantasy book club that's happening on the 11th. So that will be my, hunker down and read in E for the week. So you will probably be getting some updates on that throughout the week. I also will probably be audiobooking someone at work, so that will be B is for Burglar by Sue Grafton. Another series I actually started this one in November because I started while driving to Chicago for Thanksgiving. The first one is A is for Alibi. This is the Kinsey Millhone series by Sue Grafton. It is... So the whole gimmick of these is that they are the alphabet, and I kid you not, she died after Y, and so Z is never coming out. So I've accepted it's 25 books, but yeah. So Kinsey Millhone is a female private investigator in the 80s who gets into private investigation jobs and has to solve murders. And they're kind of, the first one was, kind of dry in a lot of ways. But I did, it grew on me a lot by the end, and I really liked the ending showdown with the villain. So I'm excited to try this one, because I think it's going to be, a bit of a slow burn, but really hit near the end. So, yeah, that'll be my audiobook for the week. And I will try to get one more in. I'm not sure what it'll be. I'm leaning towards a historical just because I don't have a historical in rotation right now, and I like to have historicals in rotation. Yeah, I'll see you all later. Bye! Happy Sunday, everyone. I got through, I believe, 27% of Direbound by Sable Sorenson, and this is a romantasy. It's about... Oh boy. Okay. So, Marin is a young woman who's lives in it's kind of a city-state, a huge castle, there's a big wall around it, and she lives in one of the boroughs. She's a bit of a scrappy fighter type. Her father was a soldier for this war. Their country has been at war with these vampire-like creatures called the Siphons for 500 years. So her dad died in the war. Her mom has mental illness / lore drop powers, and her baby sister gets abducted. And so what's happening in her neck of the woods is that a lot of young tween kids have been getting kidnapped. Everyone believes it's by the Siphons. And so she decides to enlist in the military to be able to get to the front lines, to get into Siphon territory to find her sister. Which is all well and good, right? A slight problem. So the deal is that the military on her side in the city-state has these sort of elite warriors who bond with these gigantic mystical wolves called dire wolves, and so they're bonded pairs. It's one human and one dire wolf, and they're the elite military officials. And so when she signs up for the military is right when there is a dire wolf trial, and she ends up getting a dire wolf of her own, which she doesn't really want because training is 4 months, and that's 4 months she could spend with her sister instead of trying to find her sister, instead of being stuck in the wealthy part of the palace training and bonding with a magic wolf she didn't want. And so there's that happening. There is also a bit of what I'm guessing is going to be a love triangle. So at home, her boyfriend / almost fiance named Lee is a court royal messenger for the court, who's very sweet and supportive. And then when she starts training, there is this 6'5", tanned, hyper tattooed guy named Stark-Therian, who is the leader of the warrior group of the dire wolves, and he keeps staring at her, and she assumes it's because he can't stand her, but I mean, I don't think that's the reason he keeps staring at her. So I assume that's going to be her other love interest. So that's sort of the basic premise. I am reading this because I am a part of an in-person romantasy book club. Romantasy is not really my particular bag. If you have looked at my channel over the past year or so, you would realize that I more lean towards historical romance and not romantasy. But, you know, we're trying to expand our horizons a little bit, and my trajectory with this group has been mixed to negative, I'd say. I think Heartless Hunter, yeah, these two books were my best round with them so far. So I will say this is shaping up so at 27% and to be more in line with this and less in line with A Fate Inked in Blood, which I really did not care for. It was yeah, so I like Marin well enough. I think the pacing's pretty solid. The stakes are very high. I think there are just some world building things that I'm a little like. I think they are there for theme more than like logistics, if that makes sense. So the military thing is that literally, like, the day after she gets recruited, she shows up for camp and stuff, they just throw everyone into the direwolf trial. And the trial is to make it up this very sketchy mountain with all these ice peaks, etc., to go and try and bond with the direwolf. And they force everyone who's recruited to do this. And I was like, why? Because the thing is, so many people die in this, okay? So many people. And I was like, you know, if I was running a military, I would not force people to, like, basically play magic Russian roulette in order to enlist. Like, maybe this is why this war hasn't moved needles in 500 years. Because you keep slaughtering your recruits on stupid trials. Like, the thing is, when the Hunger Games has this thing, it's like the cruelty is the point. Here, it's like the cruelty just feels like no one was thinking straight, and I don't know why no one was thinking. And now that we're in the proper trial school thing, we find out that there are like 4 more areas where they keep culling people, and I'm like, you're murdering the people who scaled the map. We keep murdering people. Like, there have to be rounds of this where, like, 3 people survive. And I'm like, you're murdering your... Because when you die, I think your wolf also dies, or something like that. So I was like, so... You only have so many of these direwolves, and you're putting them in this situation that is going to cull them, probably, as well. And, like, that's just wild to me, because they're... It's just weird. It doesn't make a ton of sense to my brain. I will be so honest. I just don't feel like anyone in this military thought for 2 seconds about anything. So, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I will say she and other people have pointed out the ludicrous elements of, like, what's going on here. So that's nice. You know, we're aware of it. Alright, well, I will see you later. Bye! Hello all, happy Monday. I'm tired, I'm sorry. I just did my first day back at work after Christmas vacation, so I'm a little low energy. But I wanted to say that I started and finished Is For Burglar by Sue Grafton today. So this is the second book in the Kinsey Millhone series. It is about Kinsey Milhone. She is a female private investigator, former police officer in the 80s. And so in this one, she is asked to find a missing woman, except who's vanished, and it's very weird. The circumstances around her disappearance are weird, and they only get weirder. And she goes to Florida for a bit and hangs out with an old lady, and then everyone in this woman's life is nuts, and it's fun. Yeah, I think I gave the first one 4 stars, and I'm gonna give this one 4 stars as well. I had a good time with this. There's definitely a kind of drier, more laid-back tone to the book in terms of the writing style. It's Kinsey describes everything that happens all the time, and all of the environments and stuff like that. So it's a little more sedate, I think, than a lot of people would want from a mystery, though I don't think it's it's not quite a cozy. I think it's a little too violent in parts. She's a little too prone to cursing. So I think it is just more of a straightforward mystery. And I do like the 80s as a setting. I mean, it was a contemporary at the time when this came out, but that was fun. I love all the descriptions of the hairstyles and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a good time with this, and I will probably read the 3rd book sometime in the next couple of months. So yeah, so that was that. And I also need to continue reading Direbound by Sable Sorenson. Hopefully I will get to halfway through today, because that would be nice to get through roughly a quarter of it a day. So yeah, that's my plan. I will say that after finishing this, I did want to read a historical. So yeah, I don't know what historical we're gonna read. That's all for me for Monday, and I will talk to you all hopefully tomorrow. Bye! Happy Tuesday! Okay, so I did get to a little over halfway through Direbound yesterday. We've had the first sort of big plot twist happen. Yeah, I don't have real concrete feelings that have altered much yet, but I'm gonna try to get through the next quarter of it today. I wanted to come back and update you because I have finished a book. It was a novella, and I have started 2 other books. I think I'll probably stick with only one of them currently. So the book I finished, I'm excited to say, I think this is going to be my first 5-star of the year, is The Matrimony Trap by Louisa Darling. This is the first and so far only book in her Drake family novella series. This was her launch newsletter novella. So you'd sign up to her newsletter and you get this book. And then she moved into the Dukes in Disguise series, which if you watch Fated Mates at all, then you know that Jen and Sarah MacLeod really love these books, or that series. I don't think they've talked about The Matrimony Trap at all. Anyway, so this is super duper cute and fun. It was about 4.5 hours. So it's about Caroline Quick, who is beautiful and very much a bookworm. Her father traveled around the world with her and her mother to study various animals. She's really into studying birds. And she plans on going back to continue studying animals. However, her grandmother has called her and her mom back home. Her father died, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. And she's noticed that her mom has gotten a bit sad since her father's death and is a lot brighter and much happier in London. So she wants to go back out to exploring and documenting birds, but she realizes that her mom is sad, and so she's well, clearly I need to get her married, because she knows that her mom will just self-sacrifice and go with her around the world, right? So she's I just need to get her married, and then I can continue my work, right? And she's found the perfect candidate. It turns out that her mom had an ex-flame and this ex-flame's son, who is so nice and so, it's just a bit of a himbo, to be perfectly honest, is in town for the season because his dad is like demanding he gets married. His dad's very stern and disappointed in him. And so he's just sort of rolling around. And then this beautiful nerd shows up and is like, hey, do you want to try and get my mom and your dad back together? And he's like, sure, why not? And so it is just their relationship, their shenanigans, trying to get their parents together and them falling in love in the process. It is super cute and very fun, very rompy, and just, I was just like grinning and like laughing a lot, and pretty sexy as well. So yeah, this was just like a perfect historical romance novella for me. So yes, would highly recommend. I've also started Bluebonnet season by Teri Wilson. Sarah from Reading Category Romance has a Harlequin author, or reading Harlequin books, like book club, and so Teri Wilson is their author of the month, and I came across the audiobook for this, and I own it already, so I decided to give it a shot, and it is super duper cute so far. Belle is she is a librarian, and also works with her like rom-com friend group is, they work with therapy dogs. So her therapy dog is a little like reading specialist Cocker Spaniel, super duper cute. And she works at a public school library and is, has a program with her dog who she's still training, but is like working hard time there to do a assisted reading program with some of the kids who are falling behind or are not as caught up in their reading level. And so our hero's niece, who he has recently assumed full guardianship of, goes to the school and is in this program and loves this dog. So their meet, which is not really a meet cute, is that he shows up, he's like a billionaire, his name is literally Cash McAllister, and he shows up and he just like tries to buy her dog from her therapy reading dog, and she's like, no. So they get off to a bit of a rough start, but they, this is like a small town in Texas, and they keep circling each other, and her dog's adorable, and her dog loves him, and he ends up adopting another, bulldog to train, and so they're going to end up doing dog training together. And it is super duper adorable so far. I think if you are someone who occasionally vibes with, this sort of, fun small town energy of Hallmark movies, then I think this would absolutely hit a lot of those beats. So yes, I am almost halfway through it. I'll probably finish it tomorrow, so I will get back to you when that happens. Yeah, that is it for me currently, and I will talk to you all hopefully tomorrow. Bye! Happy Thursday, everyone! Sorry I missed Wednesday, but I had a pretty busy Wednesday night. I got another bookshelf, so I've been moving things around for that, which I probably should have filmed. I'm sorry. And also I was in a live stream for Tea and Biscuits with B and Tara. Woo! I'm tired. B and Tara from Mama Needs Romance. My God. I'm tired. B from Mama Needs to Read Romance, and Tara from Tara Talks Books. They had Tracy Sumner, who is a historical romance author, on as a guest to talk a little bit about some of her upcoming books and just being a historical author in general. So that was fun. And also, I finished 3 books yesterday. So let's go. Let's talk about them in order from least to most favorites. So, I finished Bound by Sable Sorenson. Oh boy. Okay, so this sounds like I gave it a 1. I gave it a 3. The writing's fine. I don't know if, I mean, I've known that romantasy is really not my bag, and the more I read, the more I'm, like, convinced it really isn't my cup of tea. So why do you keep reading them, Violet? Because I'm in a book club that largely reads romantasy. So I'm gonna read the books for the book club, for like socialization and stuff, you know? It's a worthy sacrifice, even if it's not like favorites of all time or anything. And there was one that I had an okay time with. Well, two actually. It was one series. It was Heartless Hunter and Rebel Witch. These are fun. I vibed with these. But I will say, I think I'm realizing there are just some elements of romantasy that really irk me. The biggest one, I'd say, is that their cliffhangers are really sour for me. Like, heroines in these books do not seem to, like, end any of these books in, like, a triumphant spot or a growth spot. They end down, like, kicked into the dirt. And I don't love reading 600 pages just to have, like, a ton of lore happen in the last 15%, and then to have the heroine, like, lose horribly, and then be like, I'm gonna get you next time, and I'm like, you have multiple books left, so you definitely won't. Like, I don't get it. And then the plot twist of this one, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it makes the book deeply unsexy to me, and there were other plot points where I was like, we just refuse to tell the heroine anything about what is going on, and some of that gets explained and some of it doesn't, and it just made me really irritated with some of the supporting cast. I'm sounding really negative. I liked Marin as a heroine. I thought she was, like, actively trying to figure out things, which made it when people told her, no, I'm not going to tell you anything, even more annoying, because I'm like, she's trying and you're just not helping. So I liked her. There were some genuinely funny parts of the book. I think that the world building is, like, kind of interesting. I do like the wolves. And there is a lot about, like, the ending that's, like, you know, blows the whole world up, and that's kind of fun, right? That's what people like in romantasy. What? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I feel like part of the reason that these worked for me is because I was like, there are two of them. We have to wrap everything up in 2 books. Like, we're gonna get there. And, like, not only is Dire Bound longer as a book, it's like 600 pages to Heartless Hunter's like 400. It's also, I think, probably going to be, at least is going to be 3, if not more. So I'm like, we're not going to get anywhere. It's just going to be, like, a lot of trauma intermixed with BDSM sex. And, like, if we have to read this sequel for this club, I will do it. But, like, if not, I will not continue the series. No. So that was a 3, out of respect than out of genuine enjoyment. And then we have Bluebonnet Season by Teri Wilson, which allegedly I own. Let me see if I can go find it. Aha! Ta-doo! Here it is. Oh, this is such a cute cover. Look at that doggy. I'm not even, like, a dog person, but, like, so cute. Okay, so Bluebonnet Season. I should take my glasses off. It glare. I didn't want to wear my contacts for this. So, sorry. Bluebonnet Season by Teri Wilson. Okay, so this is the one about the librarian with the reading dog in training and the billionaire with the niece. And so this was very cute. There's a lot about, like, class difference in here, a ton about dogs. If you love dogs, you should read Teri Wilson. She does. She loves a pupper. A lot about, like, the therapy dogs, how important they are. I think the plotting of this one was a little shaky in parts. There was, like, a suspense element that popped up out of truly nowhere. But the ending of this, like, almost made me tear up. It is so cute. So yeah, this was this was a good time. I gave this like a 4. So very solid. And then finally, we have Hanover Square Spare by Annabelle Anders. So I do own this, but I own the ebook version of it. and I listened to the audio on Hoopla. Actually, I listened to the audio for this one on Hoopla as well. So, Hanover Square Spare is about Marigold and Reed. So, Reed is the new Earl of Standish because all four of the relatives before him that would have inherited died in a fire like a month ago. And so he's not doing great with that. And also, there's all these rumors about, did he murder his family to get the title? He did not, but them rumors be rumoring. So he is brought into the fold by one of his like school friends to this cluster of bros who are vaguely related to a gambling hell. It's one of those like roguish men groups that are in historicals that are going to be the heroes of the later books. And he is basically told that he has to marry his brother's former fiance, and they will run that article instead of one that's probably going to get him thrown in Newgate. So he goes to said lady's house, and she's not there, but her like hot baby sister is, who's Marigold, who's like bubbly and cute and has had a huge crush on him. And, well, I mean, you do have to marry the daughter of Crossings, but they didn't specify in the deal which daughter of Crossings, so maybe we can just swap them. So it's a lot of him, like, trying to woo her into getting married to him and then falling in love himself. It was very cute, very fast-paced. This was, like, about 4.5 hours, probably, like, around novella length, maybe a little longer. Very cute, very fun. There is technically sex in it. Like, oh, sorry, should mention, this is Steam free. There's no sex in this book. I think they kiss twice. I don't care about that, but you should know that. Hanover Square Spare, there is, I think, a sex scene or two. They didn't particularly stick out to me, but I'm ambivalent about sex scenes or lack thereof in a lot of books. So, yeah, this was very cute, very fun. My timer just went off for pizza. So, that's that. Oh, also, I realized that the Jane Austen read-along is happening, the first one for Sense and Sensibility, is happening on Saturday. And I was like, oh, cool. So I started that today. I think I got to about 40%. I'm going to try to get to like maybe halfway tonight and then finish it tomorrow. So, yeah, I probably won't talk much about it because it's Sense and Sensibility. It's a classic. Everyone kind of knows it. And also, I'm going to be doing a live stream about it on this weekend. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you all for hearing me. I'm so tired. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye. Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I just finished the Jane Austen read-along live stream for Sense and Sensibility. I did finish this on Friday, but Friday did not end up filming. So, I really liked this. I'm not sure about like an exact rating. I said even on the live stream, it's probably somewhere around a 4.5. But I guess if you don't know Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, this was her first full-length novel that she ever published. It is about Eleanor and Marianne Dashwood. They are daughters of landed gentry, and they are not destitute, but not doing particularly well financially, and they end up having to leave their like home estate after their father dies, and their like half brother doesn't really support them, and they end up going to a smaller area with some other cousins and getting into romantic shenanigans. Marianne ends up in a bit of a love triangle between this very charming romantic man named Willoughby and a sort of staid older gentleman named Colonel Brandon, and Eleanor is into this guy named Edward Ferrars, who is, let's see, her half-brother's wife's brother. So they're not blood related. But will they come up to scratch? How will this work out? That's the sort of basic plot of this. Austen obviously very popular, very famous. Something that struck me on reading this at this point is I laughed a lot at these characters. Like, there is almost satirical bent to a lot of what Austen is what she's doing here. There are some really hilarious side characters that I ended up really loving. And yeah, I think if you are expecting a historical romance, I would not say this is for you. Not only was this a contemporary, more satirical kind of comedy of manners situation, it also does not structurally follow a romance plot. There is a love story in both. Eleanor and Marianne have love stories, but it's not. If you are looking at this as a historical romance, you are not going to get what you want, is what I'm going to tell you. But I do think this is really, really good and very much worth reading. So, yeah. So that is probably all. I might read something today. We'll see. I have some time left in the day, so we'll see if that happens. So, I read 7 books this week, which is wild to me. This is not a pace I expect to maintain for the rest of the year. But let's go through them real quick. So, Woman of Sunlight, B is for Burglar, there we go. The Matrimony Trap, Bluebonnet Season, Direbound, Hanover Square Spare, and Sense and Sensibility. So yeah, that was fun. I hope that you all had fun hearing me yap about these books. And I will talk to you again in the next vlog. I think I'm going to keep trying to vlog. So I had fun. So yeah, thank you all so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye!